Hi, John Kuzma from Endzoneblog.com here, and I wanted to take the time to get a video going because we had a lot going on around the league today. First things first, Jamal Charles was released by the Kansas City Chiefs. Jamal Charles hasn't had a 1,000-yard rushing season since 2014. Really, he forced the Chiefs' hand in this situation. When you don't produce, and I think, he was having like 300, 500-yard seasons the last 2 years. That kind of production isn't going to work in the NFL. Andy Reid's a very loyal coach. He isn't going to get rid of you unless it's really not working out. And for health reasons, it hasn't been working out for Jamal Charles. Therefore, the Chiefs decide to go to a different direction, and that will save their cap significant space moving forward. On the opposite side of the Chiefs' moves, Eric Berry signed a 6-year, $78 million contract. It makes Eric Berry the highest paid safety in the entire league. If you don't remember, just 2 years ago, Eric Berry had Hodgkin's lymphoma, and we're not even discussing if he's playing football again. We're wondering, is he going to even pull through this situation? Very serious situation. It was very unfortunate what Berry went through, but he made a commitment never to stop training. He trained the whole time while he was going through chemotherapy. It was a risky move, but it paid off for him. He never skipped a beat. He came back in 2015. He recorded a couple picks. It was a down year for him, but it really wasn't a down year in the sense that with everything he was going through and all the stress that was going on off the field, he rose to the occasion and got out there and actually played 16 games, I think it was. I think he made every single game that year. And he recorded a couple picks, and he was productive for his team. That led to this past season, 2016, where he recorded 4 picks, and that was enough for really Andy Reid and the Chiefs front office to commit to Eric Berry for the long term. I mean, he'll be around for 6 years now, $78 million. If that's not a comeback from Hodgkin's lymphoma, I really don't know what is. I think he won the ESPY for Comeback Player of the Year. We could all learn something from Eric Berry's perseverance, his grit, and his just determination to just keep pushing forward and blocking out all the distractions that were going on in his life. I'm a big fan of Eric Berry. If you're a football fan, chances are you are too, because this guy, he's done nothing but overcome the odds. Continuing on, the other Native American franchise in the Pro Football League, the Redskins, I guess mascot's name's driven from a Native American name. The Redskins franchise, Kirk Cousins, it was a franchise tag, obviously. It was a $23.94 million deal. I think personally that the Redskins should have signed Kirk Cousins to a long-term deal long time ago. I know Deion Sanders doesn't. He's against Kirk Cousins, but truthfully, he's your best option to succeed. The Redskins won the division not this past year, but the year before that. And how do you not roll out the red carpet for Kirk Cousins? He threw for 4,900 yards this past season, damn near 5,000 yards. He gives your team the best chance to compete in this league, and what they're doing to Kirk Cousins isn't right. They need to sign him to a long-term deal and show that they're committed to him, make him feel comfortable about being a Washington Redskin, and they just haven't done that. There was rumors early on in the year that his teammates weren't really buying into what he was selling, and I don't know if that's how he conducts himself or he acts like he's better than everybody else, but for some reason in that locker room, they're not very high on Kirk Cousins, and maybe that's why the front office is reluctant to really ink him for the long term. Truthfully, if I was in charge of the Redskins, this would have been over with a long time ago. I would have signed Kirk Cousins to an extension right after he won us the division. And if not, then for certain after he threw for 4,900 yards the next year. But, it's Daniel Snyder and the Redskins. They've been known to do some off-the-wall things every once in a while. And they better be careful here, because if he skips town and goes somewhere else, I mean, obviously he's not doing it this year, but next year they might find themselves in a lot more trouble than they think they're going to be in. You never know what you got until it's gone, and I'm going to be honest with you. Kirk Cousins can play. They better, open up negotiations and make something happen for the future, or they might regret it. And then continuing on, sad story out of New York with the Jets. Darrelle Revis, he's released by the Jets today. It's very unfortunate what this guy's going through. He took 10 years to build up his football resume, which includes 7 Pro Bowls, and in one night, he picked up potentially 7 felonies and completely ruined everything he's worked for. That just goes to show you, other people out there, you got to be very cautious of what you're doing. You could spend 10 years building up your legacy, and just like that, with one bad decision, you could lose it all. Revis, if you know the situation, he was being filmed by just some people walking down the street in Pittsburgh. They were filming him. One person was filming him at first. Him and Revis got in a discussion. Revis tried to snatch the phone from the guy because he wasn't appreciating being, photographed or whatever. The guy was taking a video. As soon as Revis starts fighting with the guy, another guy comes out to aid the guy that was taking the footage. All we know is the cops show up, and the 2 guys who were filming Darrelle Revis were knocked out cold. So Revis, assault, battery, the whole 9 yards, multiple felonies. Not only is his playing future in doubt right now, I mean, his freedom is in doubt right now. He's going to have to pay a lot of money to lawyer up. It's a black cloud hanging over his legacy now. Revis, I don't know what's going on. Last year you got the Burnt Toast Award. You got taken deep on fly routes numerous times. But that should just motivate you to bounce back, prove one more time that you got it. That's what being a competitor is all about. When things blow up in your face, pushing forward, kind of like Eric Berry did with Hodgkin's lymphoma. He pushed forward, kept his hands clean, did the right things, and look where he's at now. Revis, I don't think he's a bad guy, but in these circumstances, he dropped the ball, and, it cost him a job. It's unfortunate. Moving on, Adrian Peterson. Adrian Peterson was released by the Minnesota Vikings today. That move is supposed to save the Vikings. I don't know, I heard like $16 million a year. So it was a good move for the Vikings. They couldn't afford to re-sign Peterson and then have him go down again, or have him have a bad year, because that's such a commitment, salary cap wise and financially, to one player, that if you're going to do that, you need him to be a little bit younger, and you need a little bit more durability. Now, don't get me wrong, if Peterson comes back on his A game, he could rush for 2,000 yards, and you could win a Super Bowl riding Adrian Peterson's legs. The last year, it wasn't there for him. We'll see if he can continue his career. He did have the child abuse thing a couple of years ago. That was another black cloud hanging over Peterson's career. It's unfortunate. I'm a big Adrian Peterson fan. He's one of the best backs of my time, and I would really like to see him bounce back. There's rumors that he could go to the Bucks, the Giants. We're hearing the Raiders might be interested now, the Broncos. Heard Dallas might want to pair him up with Ezekiel Elliott. Truthfully, if I was Dallas, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't put that pressure on Ezekiel Elliott. You want Zeke to think that he is the number one option, and truthfully he is and should be. So you don't want to bring in a veteran back to kind of snatch away carries from Ezekiel Elliott. Maybe the Broncos, just because when C.J. Anderson went down there, they really took a step back. If they get Tony Romo, we've been hearing a lot of rumors that the Broncos are going to go after Tony Romo. Why not add Adrian Peterson on a 1-year discount too? Maybe $1 to $3 million. It'll probably be more than that. Even $5 million 1 year. That's more of a risk. Or that's a little bit more expensive, I meant to say, but still, it's not the $16 million that the Vikings were paying this guy. So $5 million, that's a fair risk, is what I meant to say, for Adrian Peterson. finally, Jarius Byrd. He was released by the New Orleans Saints. He went to the Saints from Buffalo, where he was a ball hawking safety. He went to New Orleans with 22 interceptions. He leaves New Orleans with 25 interceptions. So he only had 3 interceptions during his time, and with the Saints. That could be because of scheme. You know, the Saints are never really too productive defensively. They struggle at times. Besides, you know, when they won the Super Bowl, you know, I think they were running a bounty back then anyway, bounty system. But yeah, Bird didn't pan out in that defense. You know, truthfully, not too many players pan out in the Saints defense. That's one area they really need to address. It's always been about Drew Brees and that offense. And even now, I mean, I'm impressed with the Saints offense right now. Brees and Brandon Cooks and Michael Thomas, who looks like he's going to be an emerging star. Defensively, you know, they need to get better. They're losing Jarius Byrd. I mean, he's 30 years old right now anyway, so he's getting old. We'll see if he signs somewhere else. But you know, right now that's the rundown of what's going on in the NFL. And if you're looking for more NFL content, we're always looking for new visitors at Endzoneblog.com. I appreciate you for taking the time to view this video, and look out for more content coming from Endzoneblog.com. Thanks for your time.